You'll often hear traders and investors arguing whether fundamental analysis or technical analysis is more important, but in actual fact, both are just as important as each other depending on what you're doing, and today we're going to discuss exactly why. How's it going, guys? Ryan here with another episode of my stock market basics series, and today we're talking about both fundamental analysis and technical analysis. You've probably heard of me talk about both these concepts previously, but today we're going to really go down a bit more in depth and understand the differences between the two and how you can use them in your day-to-day trading life. But as always, before we get started, guys, please remember to like the video. It helps me out so much. Subscribe for more content and leave any comments, questions, or queries down in the comments section below. And with that, let's get into it. Now, for starters, why is there such an argument between fundamental analysis and technical analysis? Well, in my opinion, it's effectively due to the fact that it's used by two different kinds of people. You've got your investors and you've got your traders. Your investors are generally going long term and they're going to be using fundamental analysis, whereas you've got your traders who are going short term and they're mainly going to be using the technical analysis aspects. As a result, there's a bit of a clash between the two parties and a bit of a rivalry saying, okay, why is one better than the other, or vice versa, when in actual fact they're both extremely important concepts to understand and quite in depth as well, because they can help all investors and all traders out in many different circumstances. So firstly, fundamental analysis. Now, this is the one, as I said before, generally used by investors, people who are going long term, and they're investing in companies themselves. And effectively what fundamental analysis is determining whether a company is undervalued or overvalued or quite fairly valued based on the economics, the finances, the current market factors that influence that stock in particular. Now, you'll be looking for lots of different things that you'd expect to be looking at as a typical investor. You're looking at balance sheets, you're looking at cash flow, you're looking at the management team, you're looking at all the other competitors in the market itself and trying to understand whether this company is currently worth what it is on the stock market at, whether it's going to increase in value, whether it's going to decrease in value based on actual factors that affect the company directly. The purpose of fundamental analysis then is effectively to determine the true value of the stock. If you found that a stock should be valued a lot more based on the current income it's receiving, it's operating at low costs, it's undervalued compared to competitors in the market, it is likely then a good investment, particularly long term, so that it can re-rate in price and the stock value will generally increase. Alternatively, you might be looking at a stock and looking at its cash flow and seeing they're not making money, they're actually operating at a loss, or there's going to be an economic collapse for whatever reason in the sector that that company exists. And as a result, the value of the company is likely to be worth a lot less in the future, and therefore you wouldn't invest in such a stock. Now, conversely, if we look at technical analysis, this is something that's generally used by short-term investors or traders as they're more commonly known. And this is due to the fact that you're looking at the statistical data and trying to predict the price movement based on the information currently at hand. Generally, you're looking at numbers, you're looking at charting patterns, you're looking at price trends. You're trying to predict based on the numerical data that's presented to you where the price is likely to go in the short term. As a trader is in and out of a stock short term, effectively what technical analysis is therefore used for is determining just a very small window of what is going to happen to the price in the next few days, the next week, generally over a shorter type of period of time. You're not investing long term if you're using technical analysis, because the further you go into the future, the harder the trends are, the harder the indicators are to help you predict the price action of a stock. Some of the key things you'd be looking for in technical analysis would be, as I mentioned before, stock price trends. You'd be looking for charting patterns. So I've done quite a few guides on those, cup and handle patterns, rectangle patterns, those sort of things. You'd be looking at indicators or moving averages that could indicate the direction of the price in the short term. You're looking really at those statistical and numerical factors that are currently at play. One of the most common ones used, especially by newer investors, is known as tape reading, and that's effectively looking at the ratio between the buyers and sellers and determining whether or not there is a lot more demand than there is supply, or vice versa, when deciding to invest in a stock or not. As you can see, there are some clear differences between fundamental analysis and technical analysis, and they have their different applications which are suited for different areas. Now, in saying that, that does not mean you should only learn fundamental analysis as an investor, or you should just learn technical analysis as a trader. Both fundamental analysis and technical analysis can be utilized for both traders and investors in conjunction to make more informed decisions when determining whether to buy or sell a stock. So I'll give you two examples. If we take an investor, for instance, and we're looking at them potentially using technical analysis to assist them in buying or selling stocks, what they could do is use technical analysis to determine the best entry point for the stock in order to pick up shares at a cheaper rate. This would effectively allow them to then use their fundamental analysis to determine which company is a good company to invest in, but then allow them to also use the technical analysis aspect to enter at the best possible point to get the best bang for their buck. Then if we look at a trader, for instance, they may be looking at fundamental analysis from the perspective of, okay, let's see what's going on in the broader market. What is currently happening within the sector of the stock that I'm currently looking at trading? Because these factors themselves could influence the price action of that stock in the short term. So for instance, if we are looking at a gold stock and the price of gold is increasing and demand for gold is high from a fundamental point of view, then the price of the gold stocks is naturally going to rise over the short term, therefore assisting a trader in determining what stocks to invest in. There are plenty of other applications that you can use both fundamental analysis and technical analysis together. I personally use both of these. One of my favorite ways to do it is to invest in a share for the long term, but use my technical analysis skills to trade the share as it goes up and down in value. So for instance, I might see that the stock has been bought up too much and the price has increased far too quickly, and as a result I know it's going to drop in value. So even though I'm investing long term in this stock, I'll sell those stocks at what I believe is a high point, wait for the stock to then decrease naturally in value due to the sharp increase, and then buy back the stock at a cheaper rate and keep holding onto it for the long term. But effectively what I've done is therefore made a profit, yet still held the same amount of shares. And this is one of many great ways in order to use a combination of fundamental analysis and technical analysis in your investing and in your trading. And that's all for today, guys. I hope I've expanded your understanding of the benefits of using both fundamental analysis and technical analysis, whether you're investing or trading. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave a like and leave any comments, questions or queries down below. And of course, subscribe for more content and keep up with the latest using that bell signal. And with that, guys, hope you have an awesome day. See you next time.